Hey guys, today I want to make a quick video for the new elemental raid boss. As you can see here, this one is the fire boss, there is a wind boss and a water boss as well. If you had a working team for the previous R5, then you can literally bring that team into the fire boss and you are probably going to be okay. However, I did have to make one small change to my middle team because before I was using the wind harpy to defense break the boss because the previous boss did not have any elements. However, that's not going to be the case because now the boss is fire. I have to switch my defense breaker into Lauren. Now let's take a look at all the runes from my left team to the right team. So for the left team, the whole purpose is for this unit right here to get damage and then lose enough health to trigger the healing of Colleen. Unfortunately, because the boss is fire now, the boss will have to glance you once in a while. So if you plan to do this team, I recommend you to buy the Ifrit in the guild shop and try to get a level 1 water Ifrit. Because this unit cannot die with will runes on. If the boss accidentally kill your Ifrit, it will have the passive that will allow the Ifrit to survive with 1 health, and that is going to trigger the Colleen healing. However, because the passive of this unit give this unit 30% attack bar, you need to have this kind of speed on your Brandia and your boy Beliger so that they actually move even with the attack bar gain of the Ifrit. If not, the Ifrit's gonna come in between and make your run longer unnecessarily. And then we need to have will runes on your Miriam to keep the passive on to boost your damage. And this unit right here only need to die to put another heal block on the boss. It is only here to carry will, fight, and die to put on the heal block because you need more debuff for Brandia to do big damage in the first turn. So with the Theomas leader skill, your Brandia and your Beliger will only need 76 crit rate minimum. You don't need more than this, but you definitely need at least 76, okay? And because the boss is fire now, I can actually change the left side artifact to damage on fire, so I can do more damage if you want to. If you don't have to, then you can keep the auto crit damage thing if you're using it for auto dungeon. And I had to change my Beliger left side artifact to damage on fire to see how much more I can do, because you can do that now. But overall, if you don't have damage down fire, I recommend you to run crit damage with enemy less HP, because Beliger will only attack when the boss starts with half health. So the artifact that looks like this and attack increasing effect can also be very useful on Beliger. So that's going to be my left team. Now with the middle team. The whole point of the middle team is to land branding and defense break. Actually, that is the whole point of the right side team as well. So in the front line, we have 2 units with passive that can put debuff on the boss without actually taking a turn. The good thing about the R5 boss is that you actually don't need accuracy to land your debuff. So a level 1 copy of these units with will rune on to protect the passive is more than enough to put on the passive on the boss. And for my front line branding turn 1 unit, it is going to be the Fire Shadow Claw. You can also use the Fire Ryu. You can actually use them with max level. That is totally fine as well. But you need to find the right amount of HP and defense for your unit. So right here is a decent amount of HP and defense to not die with the first attack, even the front line attack. But he will die when the boss jump and do the big AoE. So this guy is on attack with damage and attack. As you can see right here, I purposely have as little HP and defense as possible in the rune so I can tweak it with the artifact, because the artifact gives you a fixed amount of stat. So right here, I have a bit HP and defense to make sure that it won't die the first turn, and have the artifact to allow it to do damage to provide the branding for Brandia. And that is the reason why we have all these units with passive debuff, so that this guy, after the boss attack your team, will immediately, without fail, use skill 3 to damage the boss and put branding on the boss. And then he will die after the boss jump, so you don't have to waste time for this guy to use these 2 skills at all. Oh, I forgot. Before the Shadow Claw take a turn, it is going to be Lauren. So Lauren's going to take a turn to defense break. And that's about it. She's only here to defense break. And thanks to her passive that can defense break, her defense break chance is pretty solid, and it happens all the time. And remember, there's a minimum speed for all these units. You want your total speed of these units to be 169. Okay, so the speed that you're seeing on screen right now is 102 plus 65 is 167. You want the maximum you have on your team is 169, so that the boss will attack all 3 teams in the first turn regardless. Okay, you don't want anyone to move in front of the boss to desync your team. It is very, very important. After the boss jump, we have Tark here to team up with my Lauren and my Shihua. The skill 1 of Shihua can put branding on the boss. So after that, it's going to be defense break and branding once again for my Billiger to do damage. For the right side team, first we have the Ikaru, who's moving last in the team. The first turn of the boss, he will kill the leader skill, so she's only here for the crit damage leader skill, and he will attack the water gargoyle, and he will suffer from the debuff over here. And after that, I have my Hela to go first to either defense break branding or defense break. If Hela failed to do any of that, it's okay, because next in line is going to be Raok to team up with either Ikaru to defense break or Hela to defense break, and potentially Shami for the skill 1 branding. And because we have the Colleen moving from the left side team first, it is totally okay for Helia to miss the skill 1 or skill 3. And then the boss jump, do the funny AoE attack. After the boss jump, it's going to be Ikaru to team up with the 4 unit over there to do defense break and branding once again. All right, let's go for a run here. First turn, the boss, he's going to attack and suffer from multiple different debuff. Attack buff from Colleen, big damage from Brandia. That is the entire first sequence before the boss jump. And now the boss jump, he will attack, kill the unit that I don't care about. The other unit need to alive, okay? Need to be alive here to do the defense break and branding so that Beliger can do the follow-up damage to kill the boss. And that's pretty much it. In total, you are taking only 3 turns if possible. However, the defense break and the branding would not land all the time. So your other unit will need to also do a bit of damage in case the Beliger fail. So middle team, debuff, defense break, branding and big damage from the Shadow Claw. The boss will now jump, kill the Shadow Claw and the living armor. Or not the living armor. It's living armor, right? In the front line. And then my boy will team up with the other unit. Defense break branding. Beliger do the big damage. And if Beliger fail to kill, your Shihua will have to do the finishing touch on the boss. So it's gonna depend on your Beliger damage a lot for the turn after the jump to finish off the boss and do enough damage. For the last team, you can see as well, first turn, big AoE damage, debuff. We have defense break here. We have team up for the branding, big damage from the Brandia. The boss will now jump. And the good thing for us is that the water gargoyle would not team up with anyone in the gargoyle stone state, and that will allow us to team up with the right unit to do the right damage. We miss branding from all of our brander. But the good thing is, because my team is built with solid damage, the follow-up damage can still deal with the boss if we miss all the branding. And the run will be a little bit longer, but it's still going to be very, very doable. But if you happen to have Deborah, the Dark Hammer, you're in luck because you can replace the Fire Hammer with a Dark Hammer, and the damage output of your left side team or your Beliger Brandia team is going to be way higher compared to using the Fire Hammer. So my Brandia was doing 300,000 before, now she's doing more damage, and I'm pretty sure I may be able to kill the boss even without branding. With branding, it is a guaranteed kill for Beliger. Without, I think that was without branding. The branding landed a little bit too slow because of the animation, but that was way too clean. And it's going to be a very easy 21-second run if you happen to have the Dark Hammer. So if you have Deborah, congratulations, your run just got way better. So this is one version of the team. I have another version that include another damage dealer to be the safeguard, the plan B for the middle team, because as you can see right there, not every time Beliger will finish the boss clean, and not every time Shihua can finish the boss clean as well. So we have to add like another damage dealer in case shit really goes wrong. So let me add another damage dealer somewhere in the middle team to make it safer. And that version is going to have Crow in the middle team. Why? Because for the turn after the boss jump, I'm using the card to team up with the 3 unit over here. And the skill 1 of Helia, chance to land defense break, is extremely high. I also happen to have a max skill Raok for the extra 10% in the skill 1 to defense break. So overall, even without Lauren moving after the boss jump, the chance of landing defense break is really, really good with Icaro team up. So if I have Crow right here, Crow's gonna be the unit that will do the big hit if all else fail. Okay, so that's gonna be a little bit safer, but less defense break chance. All right, the boss jump. Here we go. Let's see if Crow need to move. Oh, if we didn't land branding, then Crow will have to move and finish off the boss if we need to. How about the Win R5 boss? The good thing is you can literally use the same team, but this time you don't have to run Lauren. You can run Prelia for even more consistent defense break chance, and you have to do one thing for me. You have to change your Billiger artifact to potentially damage down Win to maximize the damage for this boss. You can also do the same for Brandia if your Brandia is not killing the boss in the first turn. So let's see if the team is going to function the same way in the Win boss. So we're gonna get the debuff on the boss. Very cool. We're gonna have defense break branding. Where the fuck's my branding? Ah, that's my branding. And then Brand is gonna finish off the boss in the first turn. If you need more damage, put damage on Win for your damage dealer. All right, the boss is gonna jump and then team up with defense break and branding. We almost kill because I'm not using the Deborah in the middle team, so the Belliger is not doing as much damage compared to before, but we still managed to deal with the boss just fine. So that is pretty much the same team for this dungeon as well. And that is what I plan to do for the R5 boss, which is to only farm the fire version, because the fire version will drop Vial. Okay, that's all I care about. The fire version drop Vial, drop Despair, which is absolutely incredible. And if I want to farm Rage and Fatal, I'm gonna farm the Wind version. I will probably ignore the water version, even though the water version will drop Will and Swift. But the good thing about the game nowadays is that it will also drop the Beast Claw and Beast Horn, and I can use that to craft my Will and Swift, and I can ignore this boss entirely. I don't have to waste another crazy damage set on the water boss and focus all the best rune on the other bosses that literally use the same team. And if you want to challenge yourself, I think you can do this, but I personally will probably ignore this boss entirely. And I think the drop rate for Beast Claw and Beast Horn is actually pretty decent. If you farm a lot of R5 in general, you're gonna run into a lot of this. Maybe some of this, but this thing is super rare. But this is not rare at all. And I want to use it to craft my Swift, to craft my Will. And that is not going to be a problem at all. As long as I can get my hands on the Legend or Purple Violent Grind more often, it's going to be absolutely amazing. By the way, if I want to, I can actually slot in Rahul for one of the branding team and use him for branding. But fuck, that is literally the best place to use this unit, in my opinion. Anyway, guys, let me know if you can build a team in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.